Do you have social anxiety? Do you want to be more confident around people? Do you lack a sense of feeling comfortable in your own skin when you're around people? Do you struggle to connect with people? Do you feel like the awkward, weird one when you're around folks? Maybe this problem is so bad that you choose consistently to avoid people altogether, just choosing to spend your time playing League of Legends or whatever, maybe talking to people on Discord instead of actually face to face. Whatever your situation is, mate, in this video, we're going to resolve it completely because I'm going to give you a solution in my caffeine-fueled state right now that I don't see anyone else talking about. I see maybe a couple of other personal development videos mention it a little bit, but no video I've ever seen goes into what I'm about to talk about in this video as deeply as I'm going to, okay? Because I see the solution I'm going to present to you in this video, it addresses one of the key fundamental reasons why you struggle with social anxiety, you struggle to connect with people with social confidence issues. I'm going to dive into it in this video, okay? Before I do that, I want to tell you, man, I get it. I've been there before. About 3 or 4 years ago, I just had this, like, don't get me wrong, I could perform and I could act like I was confident, but deep down and in myself, I was just this hotbed of anxiety, constantly worrying what I look like, constantly worrying what people thought of me, constantly being like a social chameleon, adapting my opinions, my values, my desires to suit other people, never feeling actually connected to people, never feeling loved or appreciated for the person I really am, because I was too afraid to show that person to the world. I've been there. All right, mate? So I'm not just talking from a position of I don't know what I'm talking about. I've been there. I resolved it, okay? Now, with that being said, let's dive into it, the reason why you clicked this video. You have social anxiety. Why? One of the key reasons that you have social anxiety, mate, is because you're in a social situation, you're at a party, whatever. You are paying so much attention to yourself. 95% of your attention is on you. Your attention is self-centered, okay? Now the problem with that is that the more you focus on yourself, the more your attention is captivated on these negative thoughts about yourself. The thoughts themselves create the anxiety. Do you understand that? Like, if you're in a social situation, a part of you knows, oh God, if I just stopped thinking this way, if I just stopped focusing on myself so much, if I just stopped having these thoughts, that'd be better. But then that's another thought that creates the anxiety and makes it worse. So it ends up becoming, right, a self-fulfilling prophecy, in the sense that the more focused you are on yourself, the more anxious you come across. But it also becomes this like self-reinforcing cycle where the more you think about yourself, the more you try to stop thinking about yourself, the more anxious you become, the more negative thoughts you have, because that's how the brain works, and on it goes. So eventually you just become this anxious mess. But what we're going to do about that? Are we going to click our fingers, mate, and be like, okay, thank you, Oliver, I appreciate that, cheers? No, it's very difficult. The solution is to focus more on other people than you focus on yourself. There's one emotion that is as strong in the mind, in the brain, as anxiety. It's as strong, okay? What is that emotion, I ask you? That emotion is curiosity. If you watch a movie, right, let's talk about storytelling. If you watch a movie, the movie starts and then there's a person who has this strange artifact or a strange object and they're running urgently in a direction, right? Now, as soon as we see that as the audience, we have a bunch of questions that come up automatically. 1, what's the object? 2, why is he running? Why does he have that look on his face? Where is he going? These are questions that are burning questions. The reason why we watch the rest of the movie is because we want to have that answered. So that's a storyline. It starts like this. There's some conflict and eventually it resolves. We get our answer. Oh, we're satisfied. The thing I just described is a concept in storytelling called open and closed loops. When you saw the hook at the start of the movie I just described, that is what we call opening a loop. When you open a loop, you create a bunch of questions in the mind that need to be answered. When you close a loop, you answer the questions, you resolve it. Okay, that's the end of the story, so to speak. So, bringing it back to social anxiety, when you're in a super anxious state, what you need to do is you need to incite in your mind a feeling of curiosity that is strong enough to counterbalance the weight of the anxiety, okay? Even it out. And you do this by intentionally opening loops of curiosity in your own mind. We've got a practical exercise that you can do. Next time you go to a coffee shop alone, don't just put your earphones in and do your work or sit on your laptop. When you're in the coffee shop, I want you to sit there. I want you to calm your body. I want you to take a few deep breaths. I want you to look around the room. I want you to people watch. And I want you to start asking questions that you want to know the answer to about other people. I'm not talking about, oh, where does this person go to school, or any boring question. If the question doesn't interest you, it's going to be boring. It's not going to create enough curiosity in your mind to counterbalance the anxiety, right? So you need to think of genuine questions. You really do the work on this. Think of questions that if you just look at a stranger, a family, an old couple, you actually want to know the answer, okay? Like for example, I was in a coffee shop the other day, sat there, and I see a young woman, she's very beautiful actually, and she was writing in a journal, same as me. And I was thinking to myself, what is she like, because I was practicing this exercise, I was like, what is she doing? Like, is she traveling through? Is she a student? Where did she come from? How long has she been journaling for? What is she writing in that journal? These are things that created they opened a loop, and they created a curiosity in me that I wanted to resolve. If I still had social anxiety, that curiosity would have been stronger than the anxiety, okay? So do that exercise. If you do this, okay, if you practice this, I guarantee you that this will resolve your social anxiety. Not only will it do that, but it would also make you a master conversationalist. Because ultimately, charisma, social confidence, and talking to people is basically helping people feel good in your presence. When people are around you, they feel great. You are curious about them. They feel like you give a shit about them. They feel listened to. They feel heard. You're actually paying attention to them instead of just acting like you are. That's going to help them feel amazing in your presence. That is what builds charisma, and that's what creates a charismatic individual. If you enjoyed that video, then click this video next, because it relates to this one, and you're going to need to understand what's in this video to fully practice this stuff, okay? Take care, mate, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.